Welcome to day number 2 of Ancient Inheritance. Floor number 2 is big, like really big. It looks like Smogate changed it so that instead of having to split your guild up into multiple teams to chase down certain wardens, everybody gets to stay together. This is nice because no longer can guilds get trapped. Makes it a little bit foolproof where if the people assigned to one guardian decide to leave the guild isn't permanently stuck on the floor. I know that sounds unlikely, but it has happened. I got several DMs about it. As to what our guild is doing, here is floor number 2 with our pathing and marching orders. We're basically just making a beeline for the wardens so we can open up the priests and progress to floor number 3 where the loot is much better. We're setting it up so that if the warden dies, anybody who hasn't made it to the second teleport yet can use the first teleport and they'll go after that northern guild chest. Now before we jump into the fight, we want to collect all of the rewards. Take a look at how much experience we're getting from collecting these rewards. That's a little over 450 experience across all of these grabs, and that can actually push you up a level in game. So you want to make sure that you grab these rewards before you go too much further in the fight. Oh, and if any of you know someone from this guild, the map makers over here at Team Bread would love to meet them and pick their brain to help us get our maps filled out to make Ancient Inheritance easier for everyone. Well, I'd hoped to get a couple of fights in against the priest, but my guild cleared it before I got up. Early bird gets the worm, I guess. So here are a few priest teams from Derpth's Season 6 guide that should help you out a lot. His guide is also linked in the description. Before heading up, we'll grab this scroll, and this one's a no-brainer. I'm going to grab the experience and provisions over the shop currency and provisions and having to do a battle. And there we go. So I guess there's nothing else really to do on this floor. Now, just as a caution, once you go through that red portal, there's no coming back. So if there's anything left on floor number 1 you feel you needed to do, then make sure you do it before you go through that portal. I can't think of anything else I would want to do on floor 1, so we're heading up. So the pathing takes me straight to the east. There is a scroll and a relic on the way for me to check out, so I'll go ahead and start heading that direction. Now, as much as I'd like to grab a new relic, I check first, and I don't have any room for a new relic. I've got the old Nib relic, which I definitely want to keep, and I've got the Wulf gauntlet, which I definitely want to keep. I won't be able to get a new relic until I'm class enhancement 6, and you can check your class enhancements under exploration info, but I am still pretty far away. You can see in the bottom left hand corner I'm level 4 with a lot of experience to go, so we're going to skip on that relic, not waste the provisions, and head up for this scroll, and it's a fight. I could just top right out and save my units, but if I do that, I don't think I get the enhancement points from Old Nib from using the scroll. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but you know what? My Benimaru needs some friendship, so I'll go ahead and grab these red boxes. Now, these are level 58 mobs. It's actually a pretty strong mob for the floor, so I want to make sure I take a Weaver and don't just try to solo it with a DPS. Now, if you have a self-sustaining DPS like Fire Ravi or APOC, you probably can pull it off with a single unit, but I'm going to go ahead and use Amelia and Ken, because it looks like all of the mobs are fire and earth. Those two should do real well in this fight. And we'll just kick it on auto and run it through. It did get a little hairy there at the end, so I took it off auto just to be safe, but it was a pretty clean push. And that gets me my rewards, and I get my 2 currency for having Old Nib artifact. So there's nothing really left on the map. I'm still too far from rank 6. There's no way I'm going to qualify to get that relic, so no need to backtrack. I'm just going to head on over to the boss, and hopefully walking with the Wanderer's Pipe artifact is enough experience to rank me up before the fight. Bottom left hand corner, looking good, and there we go. Rank 5, level 5. So I check my class enhancements, and I have enough to raise my warriors a couple of levels. And I'll go ahead and pump the rest into Soul Weavers. Now remember, you can't level a class higher than your current adventure level. My current adventure level is 5, so I can't take my Weavers or Warriors above 5. The only reason you're seeing 6 on the Warriors is because I have the +1 relic for Warriors. So there is a world where you sandbag and save class enhancement points. Just because you have unused points doesn't mean you throw them into other random classes. Save them, that way when your adventure level goes up, you've got the points to level the class that you prefer. Now the first mini-boss is a gargoyle. Every time the gargoyle hits you, he reduces your defense. Now there is a minor cheese where if you die and come back to life, it resets that and practically get a new lease on the fight. So if you can time Rowanna's raise just right, you can have him kill you, bring you back, and it resets all those defense lowerings, which will let you probably solo the fight. Takes crackerjack timing though, because the gargoyle does strip, and if he strips the raise, you don't come back. So I've not pulled off this cheese before, but I'll go ahead and try it. I've seen it work, so we'll take Rowanna for her raises. The way I built this team is my Yufine is a 100% crit chance already, so I ditched the crit artifacts and gave her a DPS artifact. I'm using Jacko's symbol for damage. Rowanna I've got on Stella Harp, it's just what she normally wears. I have Camilla on Benimaru's artifact for the attack buff. Because this boss strips, I want that to be consistent. And Lilius wasn't quite at 100% crit, so I gave her Edward's artifact just to get her crit chance up. She is a warrior, so she does surprisingly good damage in this.
Obey if you wish to live.
Now there's nothing fancy about this fight, you just do as much damage as you can. When the boss attacks, he will strip buffs and he'll lower your defense. Unfortunate, no defense break. I'm going to use the S2 on Yufine just to get her attack buff up. And the boss stripped it right away. No real need to use the S3 yet, I'll just save it for now. Okay, even though Benimaru's artifact procced, I'm going to still use the S2 to give an attack buff to Yufine. And any chance you've got to soul burn with Camilla, you should probably do it to make the defense break 100% chance. And now we're doing pretty good damage. Stripping the attack buff off Camilla normally made her a bad choice for this fight. She became kind of useless, but with Benimaru's artifact, self-propagating her own attack buff makes her really OP in this fight.
I'll cut your throat. Your defense is riddled with holes. Feel my sword. This is it. Don't worry.
Here's the boss's ultimate attack, and you can see the little pop-up message saying my defense has been decreased. Every time he does that ultimate attack, my defense goes down. I think you get the gist of this fight, so we'll go ahead and speed all the way towards the end. It did remarkably well for damage, but I lost track a little bit, and this hit killed Yufine, and I didn't have the raise buff ready to go. Now, the next hit I think is going to kill my Camilla, so I'm going to go ahead and use the S3 to get the re-raise buff up, and maybe I can salvage the last little bit of damage on this bar using Camilla and Conqueror Lilius together. So I burn and dual attack. I'm hoping with the shields that I keep the raise buff. Oh no, he stripped the shields. Okay, got a shield back up, so I should be okay. Nope, he stripped the raise buff, so I guess that's going to be that. I think we can get one or two more hits in. I might as well give Rowanna an attack buff and let her do more damage, I guess.
Here's my chance. I won't run.
Damn, did Rowanna just hit for 11k damage? And no one to dual attack with, so I'll use the S3. It's going to be my hardest hitting skill, and that is that for me. So left a little sliver of health for somebody else to come along and take out, but this was a pretty solid team. So I don't have to wait long. One of my guildmates rolls up just a few minutes after I pause this video and takes out the gargoyle. Once again, every time you join the map, make sure you check to make sure there's no rewards. Get your free experience points and loot. It can help level you up while you're on the map. It's okay that we collected the guild chest early because even people stuck on floor number 1 will still get the rewards from things we do on floor number 2. Once you're on the map, you're eligible for all of the rewards the guild procs. Now, it looks like there's another relic shrine to the east, but I am still not rank 6 or level 6 yet, so I still don't have an open relic spot. So I'm just going to head to the east and collect this scroll. Normally I'm a gambler, but one extra class enhancement just does not seem worth it for the risk of damaging my warriors. So I'm going to go ahead and take this middle one and just get the 2 class enhancement points. Since it is a scroll, I'll get 2 additional ones because of Old Nib, so I should get 5 class enhancement points out of this. Or 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Man, I need some coffee. Okay, the next fight is another Constorum. This one's a Constorum of Hatred. Whatever Constorum means, it's exactly the same fight as on the previous floor. It puts a bunch of burns on you and ramps up its damage and self-CR pushes, and when it does its ultimate, it detonates the burns, which will kill you pretty quickly. Also, the further in the fight you go, the more healing is turned off, so units that proc barriers are a little bit better than units that proc healing. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of this team. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it did. So we take Edward because it's hard to stick debuffs on him and he counters when he tries. He'll be great against the burns. I'm taking Luna for extra damage, but mostly for the defense break. I'd rather have Camilla, but already used her. Kitty Clarissa for the dual attacks. Now what I've done here is I turned Kitty Clarissa's self-effect resistance on. I turned Ed's AoE effect resistance on, so everybody gets effect resistance from Ed. I put Kitty Clarissa on Bastion of Hope to give everybody a huge effect resistance boost. I think you see where this is going. On Luna and on Ed, I put Strax Gauntlet to give an additional big chunk of effect resistance, and to top it off, I gave Shamadra's Staff to Acades for even more effect resistance. I didn't add it up, but this gets everybody pretty close to, if not over, 200 effect resistance. It was as much ER as I could stuff on these units, because gear doesn't really matter, so I couldn't tinker with the gear. I'm hoping what this does is it makes me immune to the Constorum's burns. And if it does, that takes away 90% of the damage. I can't heal, but the incoming damage I can hopefully deal with barriers. I think if I had taken Amelia instead of Acades, the barrier procs would have been better, but I used Amelia in that first scroll fight, so don't really have that option right now. Ha! Look at that, it works. Everybody resisted, including Ed. Okay, so maybe putting Strat Gauntlet on Ed was a mistake. In fact, that was kind of a bonehead move. Why does Ed need ER? He self-cleanses. So if you do this team, do it, but don't put ER on Ed. Give him any other artifact. He'll still have a lot of resistance from the Bastion and the Shamadra Staff, but at least maybe he'll get burned and you'll get some counters for extra damage. But this team works great. Ed gives self-barriers with his S1. If you could manage to take a Soul Weaver that gives barriers like Amelia on the team, I bet you could come close to, if not solo this boss all by yourself with this team. I do think Camilla would be a better option than Luna just for the more reliable defense break, but Luna does proc some pretty high damage, and the boss is fire, so that gives a little bit extra damage. So yeah, I'm over here breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. If you want to fight any of the Constorums who do these burn debuffs, just stack ER artifacts and tear right through them. So that completes this fight and frees me up to move towards the first warden, a Blind Eye Lich, I believe. So looking at the map of the third island, don't have a lot explored yet, but I'm just gonna make a hard left and head up to that lich. I only have 12 provisions left, so I don't think I'm going to be able to fight anything. Let's see, there's another relic over there, but I'm still only level 5. I can't get a new relic till I'm level 6, so there's no reason for me to chase after it. If I had relics I wanted to replace or that I wasn't happy with, sure, but I'm pretty happy with both of my current relics. Looks like this lich is a Burning Eye lich, so ice units. I doubt that lich will be there tomorrow for me to fight, but if you come across it, a Burning Eye lich, the Fire Warden, a really strong team would be to use Conqueror Lilius, Camilla, Mediator Queric, and either Luna or Sigrid as your damage unit. Those that 4-man team, you don't even need a healer, it's just going to tear right through them. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe, and check me out on Discord. Have a great one, everybody.